to start with the guys from our creative team, the gentlemen who represent many gentlemen and ladies who made this place come alive. So let's bring them out, please. Let's start with Mark Woodbury, President of Universal Creative. Tim Lee, Senior Vice President of Universal Creative. Dale Wilson, Vice President of Universal Creative. Alan Gilmore, creative consultant, y'all know him as Steve. So, I'll do some Q&A, but guys, I gotta ask you straight off the bat. What a night last night. Give me some first impressions, please.
Well, it was just fantastic seeing everybody here and seeing the place full of life and excitement and enthusiasm. And, you know, it's been a 4-year journey for us, so having it come to a moment like this was a really special night.
Dale, talk about the training, please.
You guys enjoy the training? It is amazing, and it's really cool that we can connect our two parts together with this experience. I think it's unlike anything else, anything else in the world.
Terry, what was the one moment? What's your brain photograph from last night? What was the one moment for you?
Well, watching everyone walk through the archway, through the bridge archway, and watching the reactions. Everybody looked like they were half paralyzed, or just, you know, the sights, taking it all in, looking up at everything, and walking in circles, and it was fantastic. It was a dream come true for all of us, I think, to realize that what we've done here is working. It's placing you into the stories, into this incredible Diagon Alley that was seen in the films, that was read in the books, and it's a huge thing for us. It's a great reward to watch these reactions, to watch these emotions, and that's what fuels us up, you know, and we want to do more.
Alan, same question for you. What was the one moment you're going to remember for a long time?
Well, I think last night when the first guest to the event arrived, and you could see there was a sensory overload happening. They didn't know where to look, what to look at, touching, looking, watching the characters, the buildings, the detail. It was really cool to see those reactions.
The dragon,
the fire. The fire was amazing. Excuse me. Well, yeah, last night was more than we expected. Everybody was so positive and very thankful for that.
So, a personal favorite for me. I've been working with these guys for months. I've seen them sacrifice. I've seen what they've done. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Thank you for that. So let's start with some questions and answers. Give us a raised hand. Thank you. Since you're in the front.
Forbidden Journey, while it allows time to spend among these Harry Potter characters in familiar places, really wasn't driven by any specific narrative in the Harry Potter books and films, but the attractions here at Gringotts and Politics Fest very much hold closely with specific narratives in the Harry Potter films, specifically from Deathly Hallows. Tell us about the decision to kind of go more in tune with the narrative here and kind of the risk that that entails and not creating something that conflicts with the Harry Potter.
Is the sound okay back there? Can you hear me? You have to turn the sound a little bit, maybe? So the question was, let's see if I get this right. The question was, Harry Potter Forbidden Journey, kind of an amalgam accumulation of Harry Potter adventures and stories. What he's seen here is much more story specific, I think. Did I do that okay? Okay. So that's the question. Why don't we start with Mark?
Sure, yeah. Well, Gringotts, you know, was important to us to bring alive, and it carried with us the opportunity to tell a specific story and use that as a chance to make it very different from Forbidden Journey. But as you point out, it was a tricky piece of business to find a way to do that would be authentic. So we studied it pretty hard and figured out there was a slice in time by which we would be enabled to be in the Gringotts Bank at the moment Harry, Ron, and Hermione were breaking in to steal the Horcrux. And we found an opportunity to place ourselves in that action. And it took a lot of thought, it took a lot of consideration to find a way to allow us to be in that moment of the movie. But Gringotts, you know, as you know from the films and books, was a ride waiting to happen, and the chance to bring it alive was an opportunity we just didn't want to miss.
Thank you. Next question, please. Let's go right over there. Do we have a microphone on this side of the room? Oh, he's going to get a workout.
curious what you guys took from Hogsmeade, what you learned from Hogsmeade and improved upon in Diagon Alley. Because you can notice some things, like last night I was noticing bigger walkways, particularly gift stores. So what did you guys learn from Hogsmeade that you applied to Diagon Alley?
You look like you're ready to answer it. Want to go down?
Well, you are right about walkways. We never sort of, when we laid out Hogsmeade and began all that process, we never sort of realized the crowds. And so we needed to be true to the stories, which was to keep things tight and close, but we also needed to have the space. And I think we've achieved pretty well this feeling of kind of a very tight and closed-in urban environment, but yet still have the space for our guests.
I'd say the other thing we learned is that the fans really love all the details we put into Hogsmeade and Hogwarts and the level of storytelling, and we wanted to take that and raise the bar one more time, and that's what we've done here. I mean, we know what you guys love, what the fans love, and you come down to Diagon Alley, you can tell this is a whole different level, a whole different scale, and that was one of the biggest things we learned. This is, you know, you guys want more. The fans wanted to experience a lot more of those places and those magical moments.
Did you guys, during the whole creation of this, get to, call them up or email them or whatever and ask, what is exactly that you want to see or get inspiration from them of what it really needs to be in Diagon Alley since they kind of experienced it throughout all the years?
Could you ask the question again, please?
The first part of your question?
Okay, sorry, it's two-part. Did you get to talk to the Harry Potter cast about what they specifically would like to see or how they would like to see Diagon Alley come to life?
Well, we've shared a lot of great moments in Hogsmeade and Hogwarts for the past few years with the cast. When they come over and visit us, which is quite often, it's real nice that way. And we always take their feedback, just like we take the feedback of our guests. And we've applied that to what you see here today. And we put it into our stories, we put it into our creation, and it's ongoing. I got feedback yesterday from Bonnie Wright, and she had a great idea for the next ride. So,
But just one other thing, when you think of the cast as the bigger picture of people involved, having a guy like Stuart Craig involved again as our chief production designer on the entire endeavor was really critical, and David Heyman on the film side of it. So really bringing the entire cast of the Harry Potter film franchise back together in a way to help us make this as real and authentic as possible was really important and a really active part of the process.
Thank you. Next question, please. Let's go to the back room a little bit. Alan McBride. Cedar's going to help with the microphone. By the way, see if you can guess what medium Alan McBride spends his time in when you hear his voice. Go ahead.
My question has to do with, is this too soon to ask, but I've heard it said there are more tales to tell. Are you thinking about those tales right now as we open up Diagon Alley? Or are you going to take a moment just to breathe and rest a little all to appreciate this? Just to savor the moment, if you will.
Well, I think we're definitely savoring the moment. This is an extraordinary point in time to see Diagon Alley come to life and to be able to connect the dots between Hogsmeade and Diagon, as Dale mentioned, with the Hogwarts Express and put the two parks together. Two parks, one seamless story is a moment that's bigger than life. We'll be focused on this for a while.
Thank you, Alan. Another question. Let's go over here, please. Yes, thanks.
What element are you most proud of that made it from concept to reality that you're seeing guests now experience?
I think Diagon Alley is utterly beautiful. It really is. We've had a chance, coming from the film team, where we only ever built Diagon Alley maybe 20 feet high. We've had a chance here to build it for real. Everything that's there, the roofs, the chimneys, inside the rooms. It's a real breathing city, old magical London. And to work with the guys here and create this world, even the room you're in right now, this scale is so magnificent, and to tell all these stories and layers of stories has been a real joy. So that for me is a real positive feeling for this whole project.
And I think for the filmmakers, we clearly got the feeling, that this was a dream come true for them, because when they get to design sets for the films, they're limited to what the camera is going to see, and often there's no ceilings, and you walk into Diagon Alley on the set, and you can see the ceiling with all the lights, the black ceiling, and that was one of the comments yesterday when the cast came through. They said, "Wow, there's a sky. There are rooms on the building," and this is great because it's as real as you can make it.
It's an architect's dream, this project, it really is.
So we also get the opportunity to expand. We actually get to, a movie set is only so big, and we get to actually take you around the corner to see what's there, to discover something else. And I think that's an amazing thing for us to do and for you guys to experience.
Well, it allowed us to bring some of the bits that were in the books that we never saw in the films. A lot of details that really you have to read the stories to know about.
And even new places like horizontally that never existed before. So you've created a new street in London. It's all yours. So it's quite special.
There, in a process this long, it's fascinating to see the moments of brilliance that happen amongst the collaborative team. And there are so many of them that stand out, but there are a few that, for me, that jump out in particular. The idea of linking the two parks and the train was just a groundbreaking thought. When we were thinking about how to make Gringotts different from Forbidden Journey, and the idea to bring Bellatrix and Voldemort into that scene and come face to face with them to make this a little bit more about that drama was, a stroke of brilliance. And when Dale and Stuart discussed putting a dragon on the top of the Gringotts Bank, and we were in London and looked at the model and we said, we have to do this and it has to breathe fire. And those are just, highlights of sparks and fireworks that go off over the course of a project like this that are really memorable.
Yeah, I think the dragon was the easiest yes.
It was one of the most complex yeses, but the easiest one to say we have to figure out a way to do this.
We're glad you did. Other questions? Right here in front.
Hi. Any plans for a book signing with Gilderoy Lockhart, Magic Lane production, any interactive bookstore plans?
Let's revel in what we have for now. Okay?
We thought about a lot of things, and right now, like Mark said, we really want to enjoy this moment and really have our guests discover this place and all the details it has to offer and explore it for many years to come.
But a great question. Next question. Let's go over here to the gentleman.
So you mentioned bringing some of the moments from the books to life, which obviously the fans would be crazy about. I'm sure that J.K. Rowling was particularly fond of also. So can you speak to what it was like having her part of this experience and what maybe her reaction was to some of the part?
Well, J.K. Rowling gave us these amazing stories to start with, and the depth of storytelling that you can't find anywhere else, really. This is just an incredible phenomenon. And working with her is incredible. Having that collaboration. When we brought the Gringotts ride to life, when we were doing the actual concept in for it, the whole thing for us was, as Mark brought up, was to place us into that one of the most powerful moments in Harry Potter's life, in the 7th book, retrieving the whole crux from Gringotts. But this time we're looking at it from a whole different point of view. We're placing you, the guest, in that same moment, but you're seeing it from a different eye, from a different point of view. And certain things happen that may not have been described in the books. So collaborating with J.K. Rowling and her vision allowed us to create that experience. And we could have, that's the only way we could have done it. With J.K. Rowling and with Stuart Craig and Alan being so familiar with that world that it created the visuals and it created the stories. That collaboration allowed us to do this kind of rich experience. This really incredible story-driven ride.
Thank you. Another question. I'm going to go to the back. Hey, Cedar, how about the lady right there? Yes.
Thank you. You were all speaking about some of the details before. I was finding a couple of Easter eggs last night. Can any of you speak to the album titles and bands in the record store? Joe Says No, Stuart's Folly, a couple things like that.
Well, let's just say that that's kind of an homage to the group here.
It's in London. It's in the Muggle world, so
They're all based on actual Old English album titles, so we kind of played a game, a visual game, but they're secret messages for us to enjoy, but they layer that sense of detail out there.
Thank you. Let's keep in the back for a second. Kevin, or I see it right there. Yeah.
2 questions. First, has J.K. Rowling actually seen this place, and if so, what does she think of it? Secondly, several actors, including Rupert Grint or David Spalt's twins, Helena Bonham Carter, Donald Gleason, Brendan Gleason, and Robin Coltrane have filmed for here, but I was wondering about Voldemort and Harry. You mentioned Voldemort will be in Gringotts. Did Ray Fiennes film anything? And I wrote the Hogwarts Express yesterday, and it was sounding more like Daniel Radcliffe, so did he do any voiceover for that?
Let's start with yes. In fact, well, it's, I'm not, let's see, Ray Fiennes, yes. Having Helena Bonham Carter and Ray Fiennes as part of this movie and live film was really extraordinary. I mean, they're just extraordinary acting talents, and having them on the set, Terry directed them in Leavesden, and seeing them in character and in costume and on the set and sitting next to him like this in a chair and watching them bring these characters to life is really just a tremendous experience to see that talent go from sitting there talking to somebody and all of a sudden explode into a character is why they're great actors and why the people associated with this franchise are such great talents. You really learn to appreciate the genius you're surrounded by when you're surrounded by the likes of J.K. Rowling and actors like that, Stuart Craig. I might get a little bit off point of your question, but I think it goes to the bigger point of the participation of people in the process and what they bring to it, and it's just extraordinary.
The cast really enjoyed being back together and working on this incredible new adventure. For them, I mean, they spent so many years playing those roles. I mean, Ray Fiennes, he loves to be Voldemort. He was so into it. The second he shows up on the set, before he's even in front of the camera, he's Voldemort. And Bellatrix, the two of them being together again was fantastic. And it brings that quality of experience, that authenticity that we really thrive for.
Thank you. The gentleman in Manhattan. Bodhi's right behind you.
This is a question really specifically for Alan. But Alan, bearing in mind the essential Britishness of a lot of the plot and narrative and the place here at Diagon Alley in London, do you feel that there are going to be special moments in particular for British guests who come in here?
I think there are many moments for British guests. The place has been very authentically designed to represent a palette of British architecture and history. So you're in a medieval building right now, which is, say, 1,000 years old. You have the Victorian streets, you have the Victorian market, which is very typical of London. So I think British people, especially Londoners, were really warm to this place. They'll really recognise the train trestle, the train bridge, the sound of the train overhead, all the layers. Because in our world back there, it's very much a layered architecture where buildings are taken down very individually or retained if possible. So we all live in much older structures, and there's a real romance to that older structure. And we try to enhance that. Stuart drove a design logic where it's almost an enhanced reality, where the buildings lean a little bit more, the colours are a little bit stronger, but it gives that sense of magic. I think people will feel very comfortable here.
Thank you. We have time for just a couple more questions because a lot of people would like to talk with today. Let's go right here.
Hi, first of all, great job. It's completely amazing, which I didn't think was possible after Hogsmeade. There's a lot of immersion that's even different than Hogsmeade in terms of the characters and the way that even the shopkeepers talk to you. They all seem to have some sort of thing to tell you about why your beverage won't have a spell. There's always a backstory. Can you talk about the process of creating all that and working with the actors about how to interact with the guests and how to keep it to that high level of immersion?
Well, somebody asked earlier about what we learned through the process of Hogsmeade to now, and one of the things we did learn, I think we touched on it before, was that people enjoy the discovery and exploration part of this experience as much as they enjoy any particular ride or individual thing. It's kind of the sum of the parts experience. And so we really focused on that. And you look at the wardrobe and you look at the interactions with the characters that inhabit these places. And we focused a lot of time on trying to make that a seamless, immersive part of the whole journey through Diagon Alley. And I think you'll continue to see that as you get to experience more and more of this place.
Yeah, to your point, the wardrobe is really expanded from what we've done back at Hogsmeade. We had an incredible wardrobe to start with, but I think we have a lot more here. I know for a fact we have a lot more. And the food, all the different products you can find in the shops, which are true to the fiction. Everything is at a different scale, different level, and it's all from what we've learned in the past and what we know our fans are expecting.
One thing I can see when you're in the shops is the merchandise and the props seamlessly melded together, and the whole thing is so authentic that you're almost going to go, can I buy this? Oh, it's so amazing. And the team out there so love this job. They all want to learn more. They're creating their own stories. They're researching the books, and it's a real passion in this world.
One more question, please. I'm going to go all the way to the back of the room. The gentleman with his hand raised there.
Thank you. To follow up on a previous question, there's been some confusion and miscommunication in the media regarding the specific involvement of Daniel Radcliffe and Watson. Can you guys specifically confirm whether they contributed new footage or voiceover work? I know it didn't sound a lot like Emma Watson on the train. Can you guys be specific about that?
Of course. So for the record, I don't know anything on to gentlemen. For the record, you're going to see and experience all of your favorite characters in the attraction. Daniel and Emma have other commitments and we're not able to create original footage for us for the attraction. But again, you'll see all of your characters in there. I got that right? That works?
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you. Okay, important question. I'm glad you asked it. I think it's probably time for us to ask the gentleman